The day after Christmas, 1:30 in the morning, a 26-year-old woman was headed home and was never seen again until her dismembered body was discovered a few days later. The suspect is a person now known as Vilma Anderson. Now, if you saw the thumbnail, I suspect you have words. If I could ask you a favor, for you who will write in the comment section, exchange the words you want to say to words that are safer on YouTube. If I could ask that favor. I have a lot of words I want to say. I have to be very careful because of how the laws are written at the moment. Okay? This is Vilma Anderson, age 25. Vilma, who was known under a different name 5 years ago, was convicted of kidnapping a 10-year-old and a large amount of CP. Professor Leif Persson warned in 2020 about the person now known as Vilma of having a very high risk of relapse. When the person now known as Vilma was 19 years old, the person now known as Vilma kidnapped a 10-year-old, and while apprehended, they discovered a large amount of CP. Was convicted and sentenced to 2 years and 4 months. While in prison, went from a prison aimed for people with that type of illness to a security class 1 prison because could not behave, got into fights, all the things you would suspect a difficult prisoner would do in prison. The person now known as Vilma did. Placed into solitary confinement to keep themselves and other prisoners safe. Despite this behavior, the person now known as Vilma was released with this high risk of reoffending, with extreme violent tendencies. There was psychological evaluations done, but was deemed not enough to transfer to a mental institution for what we here call as a what is the word in English? Well, release, what do you call it? a documented release, meaning somebody has to write off on it. But the person now known as Vilma was not deemed sick enough. Was released in 2022, moved to an area where people found out, oh, it's that person. And that community, not a large community, got together. If your kids are outside, an adult has to be outside. Everybody made walks to make sure nothing happened, which apparently made Vilma, the person now known as Vilma, to move to a different community. And within a few months, a 26-year-old woman murdered, dismembered, and hidden. The person now known as Vilma was, well, when the cops found out that the person now known as Vilma lived in the general area, of course, let's check that out. And whatever was in the person now known as Vilma's possession, she got arrested immediately. It's not revealed what that was. And then after tracing where the person now known as Vilma had been, the body of the 26-year-old woman was discovered. Vilma has admitted to being a part of dismemberment and hiding of the body parts, but not to the act. The police believe they have the person responsible. The police believe there are no other suspects. So the person now known as Vilma is in jail. Now, why do I keep saying the person now known as Vilma instead of saying the person now known as Vilma used to be a man and is now a woman? Is that the person now known as Vilma has only legally changed the gender. Everything else, biologically, it's a dude. But legally, he's a woman. Or the person now known as Vilma is a woman. Personally, if people want to transition, I don't really care. It makes you happy, transition. But there's a difference between legal transition in order to be placed amongst women while being a fully biological male with makeup. Maybe we have to revise that change in law that allows for, I want to call myself a woman because I feel like a woman, but I don't want to actually change from a man to a woman. Especially when it comes to violent predators who apparently, in my opinion, I might be wrong, I'm not a psychologist, but for me it seems like they do that to use that type of law to get closer to new victims by claiming womanhood, changing it legally, but not physically. Again, folks, I urge you to, when you comment on this, Change the words you want to say to words that are safe for YouTube. In my opinion, this is a crime that could have been easily. It shouldn't have happened. When professors and psychiatrists warn that this person will reoffend, will do bad stuff, the society has to be protected. And this time, because society the current laws and current standards says release the person known as Vilma out to the public. A 26-year-old with a life ahead of her is now dead. Dismembered. We will find out in the coming months the manner and methods of death. If there are traces of body fluids that tells us more things was done to this 26-year-old woman. If it was done before or after death. But it's so unnecessary because it's obvious when everybody warns. The person now known as Vilma is a danger to everyone. The society has to protect its innocent. Let me know what you think. Use proper words. Use words that are safe for YouTube. Thank you for listening in. And I will see you all in the next stream or video. Bye-bye.